Ooh, you know what time it is.
Give me a hell yeah.
Bless up. Bless up.
Ooh, you know what time it is.
Give me a hell yeah.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings. Big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the pod, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the theme song. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, that's my favorite show.
We are live!
We are.
Deuce and Mo.
Happy Monday night. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. This is Night Chat. How we doing, Kings fans?
What up, Deuce?
You know.
Hey, Morgan.
Hi.
I'm rooting for y'all.
We
Yeah,
feel the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
We feel the same.
Let's go, Kane.
Could use a little beam in my life. Kings fall again. Their third straight loss, this time at home to the Phoenix Suns. I'm Deuce. That's Morgan. How's everybody doing tonight? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I seem better than you.
Yeah, you know, we've reached, so it's a part of the season now. We're almost to that 20-game mark, which is always like a significant mark of the season to see where things are at. And, you know, it's just the highs and lows of the season, right? Like the Kings started 0-4. They go have a great stretch. They went 7 straight. Now they've lost 3 in a row. And when teams start to, you lose a few in a row, it's like, oh no, everything's falling apart. Was this a fluke? I'm like, well, I mean, it just depends on what your expectations were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
right? Like,
I don't,
what?
it's funny because I don't feel any of that. Even so, I think
it's more my mentions in Discord.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like Deuce, as he's gone, he allows people's comments sometimes affect him. You could call him very bad things and I don't think they would affect him. I think when they talk about this false narrative about a team, it's when it grows heavy on him because it's the team that he loves so much that it's like, no, you're wrong. That's not the case. And I think sometimes you let that weigh on you because so many people feel a certain way, but there's so many people that don't use their voice that also feel the same way as you.
I think it's pretty simple too with me. Like, I interact with people too much.
Oh, yes.
I interact, and it's a great thing. It's one of my
It is a great thing.
great things. I like talking to people, but then I wear it. I wear it because I feel it, and it's like, all right, what are we doing here? And I feel like I have to talk people off the ledge.
And you
sometimes.
don't need to.
Guys, what are we saying here? Like,
It's not your job.
they're 10-9 after 19 games. If I would have said that before the season, you'd be like, sign me up today. But
there's
now
like,
it's here, and it's like, no.
Deuce, and it's just smaller communities of people, and you know this. Everything that I'm saying, you know this. Those are the people that you have to walk off the ledge or stop from walking off the ledge, I guess. That's what you're trying to do in that situation. But my point is, it's still just a small percentage of people. Like, you gotta, there's there's so many great things to break down and to talk about.
Yeah.
And there's also so many things to criticize and go over as well. But that's what's beautiful about sports, and especially the game of basketball, and especially a Kings team that actually looks competent out there.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, and we will have fun doing so tonight on Night Chat. How are people doing in the chat after the Thanksgiving holiday? I did put a poll question up before we started the show,
I'm
Morgan.
sure you did.
Kings have dropped 3 in a row. Are you concerned? The options: nope, tough games, it's a long year. A little bit, need the beam. And then the next one is sky is falling, Kangs. 45% of people who have voted thus far have said, nope, tough games, it's a long year. While 43% say a little bit, need the beam. 12% say sky is falling, Kangs.
I love that. So dramatic and wonderful.
Yes.
And also, everyone's allowed to feel how
Yeah.
they need to feel. But I'm just going to explain to you differently.
Well, should we do a roll call first, or is that
Absolutely.
only during the good times?
No, it is a good time. Do the damn roll call.
Steven, you're right. He says you got to have thick skin. No, I trust me. I think I want some people to just be rational, and I just don't think that's a fair thing to expect from everyone. And I got to be better at that. Anyway, let's get some roll call.
Rational people.
Shout out to everyone here from around the world, including our guy Sim, Frank Cruz Films. We've got Nick. We've got loyal Sat Kings fans. It's a trap. Sim, bad news, sour grapes. These kids at Sacktown. We've got Delivery Joe. We've got Roger, DeLarp, Scotty C. We've got Boost, Chris, Will Z, the stats guru, hanging out with our guys Stephen Brown and Chris and Nick and Shane, Malik Monk's #1 fan. We got Jesse, James, One Tried. We've got Case, Predator Kingdom. We've got Gabriel. We've got Donald, James. I already mentioned him. Gilbert. We got Mark with a C. We've got Nathan. We've got Boost. Delivery Joe already said it. We've got, who else do we have? Emmanuel. We've got Jake. We've got Dane, Marquette Sack, Jake, Big, Mike, T, Raul. Oh, I love it. Appreciate you guys being here. And shout out to Kenneth. He hasn't donated yet. That's from last time. He's probably going to donate again. And Bad News Sour Grapes, who donated $2. Appreciate that. Cameron Tantan. Biggest thing you can do before we start, hit that thumbs up button.
Wow.
And make sure to subscribe because we are on the road to 10,000 subs. We appreciate your guys' support. Ty in the chat donates $20.
Thanks,
Devin
Ty.
needed 44 to beat us. Deuce, calm some nerves. We're a much better team this year. What are your thoughts of Monk being in the starting lineup? My nerves are calm. I'm just irritated by some.
Yeah, that's all it is.
All right, let's do it. Do some more. Come down. 3, 2. What? Did a dog die? Was that?
What are you doing?
Bojack Garland going crazy, man.
I don't know where Bojack is, but
All right.
Carlin's just chilling.
All right, do some more. Coming down. 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Recording this on a Monday night after a fun night of basketball that ends. Do that again. 3, 2, 1.
The shit, why?
I was end. I don't like it.
Like, figure it out right then. We're live.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Recording this on a Monday night after some fun basketball at Golden One Center tonight, but it ends in the Kings' third consecutive loss. They lose to the Phoenix Suns, who have now won 5 in a row.
Ooh.
They come to Sacramento and get an awesome night from Devin Booker. He drops 44 points, and the Kings lose 122 to 118. Their 6-game home win streak is all over. We have a lot to go over, highs and lows from this one. as the Kings try to get back on track on Wednesday night. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Ray. How you doing, Mo?
I'm great. No one can pop my joy bubble.
You've got it.
I got a joy bubble.
What's a joy bubble?
It's just a force field of joy surrounding me, and you. Nope. Yep. How does that feel? Stupid.
I can't get through it at this point in time.
Because it's a joy bubble.
Why do you
bitch.
have a joy bubble? Why do you have a joy bubble?
I have this joy bubble surrounding me. I've had it ever since before Thanksgiving because I was just like, oh, I want to make sure like with family and everything, like everyone's just happy. I'm just going to put this joy around me. And then with some of these Kings losses that you and I have now covered together, the last 3, and one has really stood out to me as the most frustrating, and that was the Celtics loss. And then they're back home tonight against the Suns. I'm not frustrated. There are so many things I can point out that I wish were better, but at the same time, I am so happy about so many good things that I saw tonight that I'm just like, I'm kind of like Malik Monk after the game. His energy post-game was just like positive vibes. Like, yeah, look what we can do. Look what type of team we can be. That's how good we saw when we were on that 7-game winning streak. We can be that, and now we believe that.
You mentioned Malik Monk, and here's what he had to say after the game. That's what Morgan's referencing.
How do you stop this 3-game slide from being 4 or 5, etc.?
Don't get down. Don't get down on yourself. Don't look down. Don't point the finger. And just come together a little. Just make us a little closer. I'm not going to let us separate. I take a big part in that, man. I take a big part of not letting us separate. So, yeah, we'll be all right. We good.
Okay.
Mood. #mood.
Here's Domas Sabonis after the Kings' loss to the Phoenix Suns.
Domas, you guys have battled really, really well against some of the best teams in the league and come up just short. Just how close do you guys feel you are? And, again, this was like the 3rd loss in a row, but it doesn't feel like that for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel that way, but we definitely have to change that. We can't keep losing and saying, oh, we're almost there. There has to be a point where we got to finish the game, And the good thing is we know we're right there. So we just got to do these little things and we'll get over the hump.
That's how I feel.
And that's fair. I mean, there's definitely some things that you could point to tonight that I think really hurt Sacramento. One being Devin Booker. And that guy was unbelievable tonight. He got it going early. He got to all of his spots. Then late when the Kings were throwing different looks at him, trying to make life more challenging, he was maybe hitting tough shots, or the Kings were overcompensating and leaving shooters like Damian Lee open for big-time three-pointers, but they still found ways to make it competitive at the end. I think the other thing tonight is this is a 3rd straight game where De'Aaron Fox has not played well, and tonight was not a good game for De'Aaron Fox. I know after the game, Mike Brown was asked, like, hey, is he nicked up? Is he dealing with anything? Mike Brown kind of deflected, saying, well, everyone's kind of nicked up right now. What are you seeing with De'Aaron Fox, or what did you see with him tonight?
Yeah, I felt that same way, though, where it was like whatever it was, whether he looked a little banged up, it looked like it was affecting his game and his intensity. I don't see it as like an effort thing, because how could you not feel the energy of that entire team for most of this game, from Domas Sabonis, throwing it down to Malik Monk, adding that spark off the bench. So I don't believe it was anything like that, but truly something physical. Now, we've seen through some of these times, through some of these years, how something with De'Aaron Fox's physical health can really affect his game, because his game is really dependent on his speed, his athletic ability. He's added so much more skill to his game, but there's still so much of that still goes into, like, for example, you saw late in this one, his jump shot that was just short in the paint. That's what we saw a lot last year. So when you see that, it's a little bit triggering, but at the same time, I'm not worried, but I'm more worried about what's going on physically.
He had 11 points on 4 of 12 shooting, 1 of 3 from downtown, 2 of 2 from the line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He also had 3 blocks in this one, which is pretty insane. But his plus-minus was -16 in this one. After the game, James Ham put out some audio from De'Aaron Fox, who said he was not happy about his performance tonight.
Those are the things that we can't control. What, were they doing something against you, or was that more just shots not falling tonight? What was kind of?
No, just a bad game.
Bad game. Did you feel like? How much do you feel like your presence was missed tonight?
I mean, we lost by 4 or 5, and I didn't play well at all. So.
Where are you at physically? It looks like you're a little beat up. Is it just all the minutes catching up to you a little bit?
No, just little minor things here and there, but we play a lot of games every year, so you play through those.
What are your personal frustrations? You just mentioned you lost by 5 and you felt like you didn't really show up the way you wanted to. How does it make you feel?
You try to put this one in your back pocket and just keep going. Obviously, you're not going to play well every game, but you can do a lot better than I did tonight.
How about the effort against Booker tonight? Obviously, you had some easy ones, but then there were some ones that were almost unguardable.
Yeah, when a guy like that gets it going, it's almost impossible to stop. So you just try to continue to make it tough for him.
Do you have a sense of if this team is built differently than like in the past, where 3 games becomes 5 or 6 or 8 a couple of times, and do you feel like you guys are better equipped to prevent that?
Yeah, we've done it this year, so I don't see a reason why we can't do it again. We played good teams. We've lost some games that we were in. So, that's hats off to who beat us. But for us, we go back in, you go to practice, you get back together, you go out to the next game like nothing ever happened.
Well, what do you do, maybe personally, to avoid pressing in situations where you maybe have a few games in a row where you're not playing up to the standard you set for yourself?
I just go out there and continue to play the way I play. Never think about pressing.
De'Aaron, it seemed like you guys made a concerted effort to get Keegan going early in this one. Did you feel that?
Oh yeah, just try to get him some easy buckets. Like I said, just being able to see the ball go through the net, I feel like does wonders for your confidence.
So there's a part of De'Aaron Fox after the game talking to the media, saying, yeah, he's dealing with a couple of things, I guess.
It's Deuce. You know what it is too. It's just like anything with this game. How do you grow off of a loss? How do you grow when you look at the Boston Celtics last year, and really a big part of it was conditioning for them. Okay, so how do you grow from that? You condition more. Okay, when injuries come along and they screw up your game here and there within your legs or whatever it is, how do you grow to find a new way to make sure that you are contributing and making an impact with your team? That's all he has to do, is really learn and grow how else he can impact the squad if things are a little banged up with his body.
Yeah, and I don't know. Hopefully he can feel better soon, right? Because you don't want something that's minor if there whatever's going on. We're speculating here, right? We have no idea.
Speculation.
You don't want it to turn into an injury and be a long-term thing, right? The guy had a bone bruise, missed a game, came back. So I don't know if there's all this stuff that's still lingering and he's battling through some stuff. Also, I think the perspective we have to have is a guy's allowed to have a few bad games. The biggest thing is you don't let it get to 5 or 6 or 7 or what we saw last year when we were searching here after 10 games of a season going, what's going on with Fox? I don't think that's the case. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll bounce back. And, you just played a tough road trip where you come home and you take on the team that right now is the best team in the Western Conference, the Phoenix Suns. And
after playing the best team in the East.
Yeah, and I know some that they don't have Chris Paul or Cam Johnson. Yeah, they've put it together now. You know what I mean? They're now 7-3 without CP3 this season. Cameron Payne's been really good for them at times during that stretch. They're top 5 in offensive rating and defensive rating. And I think you saw what they were able to do at times defensively in this game to take Sacramento out of their game.
Yep.
Because that second quarter, by the way, this whole game just taking a step back, it sucks that the Kings lost, a really entertaining game. So much crazy-ass offense at times. And that second quarter alone, it was just back and forth. It was a track meet. The Kings, I think in the second quarter, they were 16 of 21. They shot 76% in the quarter. And what's crazy is they only took 8 3-pointers in the first half. They had 22 assists on 28 makes, and they had a 1-point lead at the half. So they had that incredible offensive performance, but the Suns were going head to head with them. Like, it was like no problem. They were just going back and forth.
Yeah, and that's what was wild about it is that Devin Booker, you couldn't do anything to slow him down. The only thing that was going to slow him down was another text to throw him out of the game, right? Because there was even a time he got so frustrated dribbling the ball, Davion's up on him and he throws his arm. They don't call shit, but you can just see the frustration in his game, and that's what you wanted to see, but it wasn't enough to fully take him out of his game. And obviously the rest of the team stood up to the effort on the offensive rebounding for this Sun squad was really the story of this game, especially with the way that they were able to capitalize on those second chance opportunities and score a bucket.
Yeah, 17 second chance points in this game for the Phoenix Suns.
Tough. Really tough. I mean, that right there, you look at that final rebound by the Suns, Torrey Craig, and where he got it. It's a little bit of luck. It's a little bit, though, he's putting himself in the best position to get that rebound, to do anything that it takes to get that board. And I just feel like at times tonight, the Sacramento Kings weren't in the right spot at the right time. Again, sometimes it has to do with luck, but sometimes it just has to do with like maybe more being a little bouncy on your feet.
I said this the other day during the pregame show on TV with you, and I'm speaking more about their defense, but this just goes to everything we talk about, whether it's an individual player, a team defense, whatever. To go from average to good to great, it's consistency. And there are times tonight you saw the best of the Kings doing great things, getting out in transition. One of my favorite moments tonight was a scary moment for me because Devin Booker got the switch he wanted. He had Metu on him. And I'm going, all right, oh, here's a bucket. Here's a 3-ball in Metu's face. Metu blocks it. And then Fox came down and buried a shot. And that was a big-time play in the game. It got Sacramento back into things. I also thought Malik Monk was just outstanding in this game. I mean, what more can you say about what he brought to a team with guys struggling? Huerter, who has missed his last 11 3-pointers. He was 0 of 5 tonight. Fox couldn't get it going. Monk came in, got you buckets, and he set guys up.
Two things, because Kevin Huerter, I thought was doing a fantastic job at first, moving without the basketball, getting open in the two-man game, creating things, becoming that threat. I thought that was fantastic, but shots were not falling. That hurts them a lot, obviously. A huge identity. It's part of their entire team's identity. Malik Monk, wow. Just wow. Not only with the energy that he added, but the will to finish at the rack in any crafty way possible that he needed to finish. My goodness, I was just jaw dropped every time that he was going to the basket. His ability to get into the paint and get where he wanted at times, it was truly incredible. I was curious about some of the Suns' defensive breakdowns there because I'm like, why is Malik Monk every single time getting a reverse, a line drive, whatever it is he wants in the paint?
Well, he was asked about that too after the game, about why he's been able to be more of a playmaker this year. And he's like, I've had that opportunity from Mike Brown.
When he said that,
he's empowered him a bit, right? He trusts him and believes that he can do it.
I was sitting in the press room and I went like this. I went, oh, like I just thought it was so sweet because it's so true when you are paired with the right leaders and the right people surrounding you to empower you to do the right things. Only good things are going to happen. And that's why, Deuce, and I know we'll talk about the overall picture of this loss even more, but that's why with this loss, I believe and feel like this team has the right leader overall and then the right pieces overall with the right mindset to understand what they want as their final goal. And that final goal doesn't just happen overnight. It depends on how they respond after a loss on their home floor like this. And Sabonis talked about it after the game, got to protect home court. And I felt it when he was talking about that. It's like, yeah, these are the easy ones for good teams, and they want to be a good team. So they got to get those.
I'm trying to find that Sabonis quote. I thought you put it out there.
No, I said I felt it to my core.
So you just didn't put it out
I like paraphrased it,
I think Sabonis was saying after the game that he just felt like Wednesday's game against Indiana was really important. He said next game we've got to win. We've got to win the next game. We've got to figure out. We can't let these losses keep piling up. We're at home, and we've got to protect home court.
Amen. I appreciate that coming from him. It wasn't just like another player saying, we got to do this. It was, oh, no, he meant what he said, and they're going to do everything they need to do against the Pacers on Wednesday. And it doesn't even matter that it was his former team, but I'm sure it will matter a little bit more on Wednesday.
We'll talk about that game in a bit. The one thing that jumped out to me tonight, just with the Kings, it especially jumped out to me late because they had a lineup out there that was Mitchell, Monk, Huerter, HB, and Sabonis in the fourth quarter. And they're in a tough spot because Malik Monk's cooking. But they need Mitchell out there to defend Booker. But they also want De'Aaron Fox out there. So at one point, they did take Monk out of the game, and Monk's looking at him going like, what? I'm cooking. But he ends up putting him back in 20 seconds later. But again, it just jumps out to me, and it's not even – I give Davion Mitchell a lot of credit. That guy lost his ass trying to get into Booker late. I mean, he was up in him.
Standing ovations, by the way, for his defensive ability tonight.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is he's 6 foot. And that's your best option right now defensively on Devin Booker. And you could play perfect defense. But Devin Booker, because of how talented he is, even if you've got some size, he can hit a bucket. But when you're 6 foot and he could shoot over you, that's tough. That makes life really challenging.
Can I just say this, though? Devin Booker is going to do that on so many different guys. And what did happen, though, and just to give him a little bit more love and credit, is that it disrupted their entire offense for that little bit. It disrupted Devin Booker's vision for that little bit in what he wanted to create sometimes in the offense. It made life harder for him. But you're right. It didn't stop him completely.
Yeah, and that's my whole point. Yeah, you're right. The great ones can make plays no matter what. I mean, I even saw when Keegan got switched on him once. I thought Keegan played some nice defense. There was a contest in the corner, and Booker made the shot. Yep. Booker's jumper looks so much like Kobe's, especially when he's getting into the spots in the mid-range.
Nasty.
It's disgusting. And I thought Davion did a great job. But my whole point to what I'm getting at is the Kings lack a real wing defender that they're willing to play at this point. You know, like Keegan had some moments on him that, okay, not bad. KZ, we saw him in the first quarter tonight. I'm thinking, okay, well, this is coming off the heels of coming in with some good energy off the bench against Boston, where he did some nice things against Tatum at times. He was able to produce a little bit offensively. But KZ did not have a long stint at all for Sacramento tonight. We saw him in the first quarter. He ends up, I'm looking at the box score here to double check, playing 5 minutes total. And it was like the old days when he would start the first 3 games and play like 5 minutes, and that's it. I don't know if Brown got upset because of a shot attempt he took, which I thought was a really bad decision by him, where it was a forced shot by KZ, and maybe his leash is just that short at this point. I was surprised he never went back to him just because of his length.
You know, in that first quarter, I noticed too, when he was working on Devin Booker, Book still had some floaters over him, like in his face. You know, it was still.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's not like.
You're right.
It's just, we always talk about like guys like Kevin Durant. He gets bucket, man. He's just longer than everyone else. And I don't think we see Devin Booker like that. But Devin Booker's shot making ability is truly Kobe-esque. And it is, you see the similarities with his muscle memory and his, again, ability to create even that little tiny bit amount of space that he needs to see where he is on the floor and shoot the ball how he needs to shoot the ball.
But you can just, as we talk about that, how bad do they just need a defensive wing? Someone that could just make life a little more challenging and knock down a 3 at the same time. And even just to, Morgan, they shot 52% tonight.
Yeah.
And I guess the one area you'd point to is a pretty low number for 3-point attempts for this group, 25 when they averaged just under 40. They were 9 of 25 from 3. But, I mean, it's just, there are times where you're like, okay, this is going to be really challenging. you know?
Well, there's times too, though, against other matchups that we're talking about rim protection. You know, just that, and we could talk about that even tonight, and that and the lack thereof. You know, so it's like I think so many people during the 7-game win streak wanted to act like, hey, this is where it's at. This is where it can go from here. You know, like it's only going to go up, and that's not how the NBA works, and that's not how it works for a team for the first time ever in 16 years actually having a competent basketball team. And I could say maybe there was one other one under Dave Yeager, if you really want to go back to that season, just them finding an identity with pushing the pace and all buying into that. But this is truly even something different. And I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot of the good times, but the bad times are going to be times like this, and I'll take this if this is the bad for this year.
And that's fair. The other thing I think you have to realize just looking at this team is that they're going to be 500. Some people would take 500, right? If they were 41-41, you'd be like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
That means you lose half the time. That means you're losing half your games.
Correct.
So buckle up. We said this during the 7-game streak, in the middle of it, toward the end of it, whatever you want to say. Said there's going to be tough times. There's going to be moments where you lose 3-4 in a row. The best thing you can do, though, is it's all about how you respond out of that.
Yeah.
Don't let this get to 4.
Nope.
Don't let this get to 4. You got Wednesday night coming pretty fast. It's going to be an emotional game with Tyrese coming back, Buddy Hield coming back, Sabonis taking on his former team for the first time. There's going to be a lot of emotions going on that night.
And speaking of Sabonis, because I think we should give him some love right now too, and just what he was able to do tonight. He didn't end up with that triple-double, but he was really damn close. I believe just an assist short of a triple-double. Just some of his dominant moments in this game when he threw it down. I think everyone felt his energy, and I'm not even just talking about the arena. I'm talking about the entire team was like, all right, let's effing go. You saw a few times there at the end, De'Aaron had some bad turnovers. There was a sloppy one where the Suns and Sabonis got into it, and he found a way to get it, turns around, throws it down for 2, keeps them in the game. Just some really strong moments from Sabonis tonight, and that's, again,
he had a couple of nasty jams.
That's
dude.
what I'm
You're right.
saying. It was fun. His game tonight was a lot of fun. And good teams are going to understand what he means to an offense and are going to do a better and better job of shutting him down. But he still had some pick and roll moments. He still did a good job pushing the ball up and guys running off of him. There's still a lot of good things that happened tonight.
17 points. He had 10 assists, 9 rebounds, 8 of 10 shooting. He did have 5 turnovers in the game for Sacramento, who finished the game with 16 total turnovers that turned into 24 points. Phoenix did have 17 for 25 points, for 25 Kings points. But I want to ask you, too, about Keegan Murray. Keegan's been struggling big time. Last 3 games specifically, I think it was 2 for 23 before tonight. Tonight, he finished with 11 points in just under 23 minutes on 5-11 shooting. He did knock down a 3. What stood out to you about Keegan Murray tonight?
I thought he started off much stronger. Again, I was just watching his game fully in that first quarter, and I thought, okay, he's doing a better job. But then he had that fadeaway kind of late, like he took it to, was driving to the paint and was fading away from the basket. I think DeAndre Ayton ended up blocking it, right? So it was some of that same old crap that we've seen from him early on. But then there was just other things that he was doing on the defensive end, whether it was just a good defensive possession where he was making sure to find his way and help. And then other times on the offensive end, I wrote down just cutting with a purpose. And then he got big on Bridges and just posted up on him, and they felt the mismatch, and then he went up strong. After that, second quarter, I wrote down some notes. Just he tried to pass it into Metu. It's like he dribbled the ball down, tried to pass it into Metu, and was just super indecisive. If he wanted to pass it there or not, Bridges knocks it away. The Suns get the ball. So there's just on and off moments from Keegan again, but I was just happy to see some of the moments be on for him.
I did feel like maybe he pressed a little bit too much at times, but
That's
I'd
fair.
much rather him be aggressive. He did try to go up for a jam that Bridges got,
Yeah.
blocked him.
Yeah.
And people are like, see, he always gets a stuff block. You got to go up strong. I'm like, dude, he just went up strong, and a really talented defensive player blocked his shot. I also want to note this, Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
We are 24 minutes into recording this, and I had the final score on the screen wrong. It was 122-117.
What did you have on there?
122-118.
What an idiot.
What an idiot who didn't correct me. Shout out to the chat for bringing it up.
I didn't see it.
I swear when I looked at the end, it was 122-118. And then now I looked at the final score. No, it was 122-117.
It could have been. Sometimes, they screw something up.
No,
and then-
I probably messed up.
Okay.
It's a turnover for Deuce on the Deuce and Mo box score.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Get him, Mo.
The one thing, like even Keegan on that play, I guess you could have pump faked to get Bridges up, but Bridges kind of came from behind to knock it away.
And
Bridges did a great job.
Solid defender as well. I feel like sometimes with a game like this too, people get really weirded out when you're optimistic or positive after a loss, especially when we just talked about some of the bad things and what the roster is lacking and everything. But you guys, we saw this team play basketball at such a high level during that winning streak, and at a high level, even with their mistakes, finding a way to win. This one, if they had found a way to win, that would have been just next level against the best team in the Western Conference right now.
Well, a couple of things I did like is after what happened the third quarter, the Suns come out on a 13-2 push. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You
Annoying.
Can't. And those are the things we talk about, the consistency. You can't have those type of runs to start a quarter. Teams will go on runs. 13-2?
You get in that
out
hole.
Out of halftime?
Yeah.
You got to come out ready to go, especially as you're trying to establish something on the home floor. They did cut it to a 1-point game. Then Booker goes on a 9-0 run by himself. Ends up being at the end of 3, 91-84. There are a couple of times I'm like, oh, this game's over in the fourth. But the Kings kept hanging around, making big plays down the stretch, and made it a game. But, against these teams that have won now, like these teams that have been together for a minute, you can't dick around. Like, you almost have to play perfect basketball in this second chance opportunities kill you. Booker's a guy. Booker's a guy. You can give him the ball, and he can get you a bucket. And then what happens? Defensive miscues where you're over-helping inside the paint, and you're leaving guys like Damian Lee, who has been a really good three-point shooter this year, wide open. Multiple times. There's also a couple times where he was wide open and missed a shot.
In some of their losses, what you're noticing, it's been really attention to detail.
Yeah.
And that goes for knowing what guys can do what on the floor, obviously, of the opposite team, or even understanding what it means to take care of the basketball. Sometimes taking care of the basketball isn't just hanging on to it, right? It's making sure you're making the crisp passes, that you're not forcing something just to be cute at the end because nothing else can be created. It's about still creating an offense by getting that paint touch. You saw early on how many paint touches they had, how many points they were scoring in the paint. The Sacramento Kings, they were doing a fantastic job. The Suns came out in the second half, did a much better job of slowing them down there.
Yeah, I think the Kings only had 10 assists in the second half. And that was after 22 in the first half. 22 in the first half is absurd, of course.
Yeah.
But only 10 in the second half. Looking at the second half numbers, too, for Sacramento. Let's scroll down here. Second half numbers. The Kings were held to just under 42% shooting. 6 of 17 from 3. They were outscored 59-53 in the second half. So they did some damage at the free throw line, but those percentages are not great.
Yeah. And if they play like this again on Wednesday, then that's when I get a little bit more not worried, but I'm just more like, okay, who are they?
Yeah, to me, you play engaged basketball, you're playing competitive against some good teams. You don't lose to the Pacers at home. coming up on Wednesday night.
Right.
And the Pacers have had like a solid start. They've also had a really cupcake schedule.
Oh.
But they just had a big time win tonight. They were down 17 against the Lakers in the fourth quarter, hit a game-winning 3-pointer at the buzzer to beat the Lakers tonight.
You guys, and this is a Lakers squad that is starting to figure some things out. Anthony Davis has been playing fantastic lately. So it's not like it was just an easy win for them against a weird Lakers squad. It's a great win.
A couple of comments from the Suns tonight that we should get to. This is from head coach Monty Williams.
I love this.
Monty Williams after the game. It won't let me zoom in. Okay, cool. Awesome. There we go. Talking about the Kings, he says, this is not an easy place to win. It never has been. But you're looking at a playoff team in my estimation.
Oh.
Is that just a coach being nice after a game, like feeling good? Like, hey, I'll give these guys some love because they played us hard.
No, I mean, I truly believe he's obviously has seen playoff teams and he understands what type of talent that consists of. And you look at this team and he goes, okay, they have what it takes. They just still have much more to learn and to grow into if they do want to be a playoff team.
Devin Booker also had some stuff to say about the Kings. He says they have something brewing here that everyone should be excited about.
I love to hear it. You guys, they're getting this love from guys around the NBA after being the laughingstock of the NBA. You know, wasn't it right before the season that Draymond, or maybe even it was during the season, Draymond was talking on LeBron's podcast or show or whatever, and talking about, yeah, when you go into Sacramento, you take the night off kind of thing. That isn't how teams are defining this Sacramento Kings team. And I love it because they've earned to have a different type of reputation around the league, and guys look at them differently.
Let's look at the Wednesday night, Morgan.
Okay.
Wednesday night, Tyrese Haliburton and the Indiana Pacers come to town.
I'm emotional already.
It is going to be an emotional night. That trade brings forth a lot of emotions. I think there are some who don't love some of the things that Tyrese has said since leaving to go to Indiana, even though he's been asked about it. I don't think my take on the whole Tyrese Sacramento stuff, I think he was hurt. He thought he was going to be here a long time, and he's a young guy and went through a trade for the first time, and he was open with how he felt about it.
Yeah, he was vulnerable, and he's been asked about it a lot since everything has gone down, and a lot of people too want to be on his side, not only because he's a great human being, but also because it's a great way to shit on the Kings, right? And I think now, as we keep continuing to move forward, I hope that when he is asked about it now, he talks more about what's going on in Indiana, because there's some really good stuff going on with Indiana, and he's a big part of it. And I hope that's the narrative that it can be. But you know that won't be the narrative if that team is making the playoffs with Tyrese Haliburton and Buddy effing Hield, and the Kings are not in the Western Conference.
And Tyrese has had a great start to the season.
Fantastic.
He's been really, really strong. Had a tough game the other day, but he bounced back tonight. He's just coming off winning Eastern Conference Player of the Week. The same week, De'Aaron won Western Conference Player of the Week last week. The Pacers have an offense that can get out and go. And with its Tyrese Haliburton pushing the pace, hitting threes at an efficient rate, the rookie Ben Mathurin.
Oh,
you know how much I loved him before the
Oh,
draft.
I know.
We both were slobbering all over. And he's a dog. He's getting after it, scoring 20 a game coming off the bench. Miles Turner is a big-time threat, blocking shots. He can have a monster game. But you just think about all the emotions at play here. Like, it's going to be emotional for Tyrese Haliburton, but Buddy Hield played here for a minute. Like, he was a part of one of the most significant trades, two of the most significant trades that the Kings have made in the last decade. And it was the first one, DeMarcus Cousins getting traded to the Pelicans, him coming back to Sacramento. And then the second time around where he got dealt with Haliburton to go to Indiana for Domantas Sabonis. These are big-time trades. So Buddy Hield's hit game winners. He's at the most threes in franchise history.
Mm-hmm.
He accomplished a lot of good things. I think he was a frustrating player for a lot of fans too, but he's coming back. Sabonis is playing the Pacers for the very first time. That's going to be an emotional emotional last night for everybody involved and the fans.
I agree. And I think if you're the Sacramento Kings, I know it's so much easier said than done to be like, hey, disconnect yourself from those emotions, like put that joy bubble on. Don't let anybody pop it. That's not how it's going to be. You think about these guys and their careers and then off the court as humans, the time that they spend with these people, these organizations, and then these cities. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I just truly hope that for the sake of our mental health, that the Kings win and that Sabonis has a game like tonight.
Don't put it out there.
Why? You don't even believe in jinxes or anything.
It's just putting it on the universe. I don't even believe it's a jinx.
Don't you want it?
I don't even want to think about it.
Okay.
I don't want to think about that. Morgan, if the Kings lose on Wednesday night,
what's going to happen?
It may go down in history as one of the worst night chat experiences of all time. We may have to turn off the chat. We may just have to
Why are
talk.
you putting that in the universe?
I'm just saying
That's because you don't have the ability to stop with the toxic comments. You don't need to put the toxic comments in that little brain of yours. It hurts your brain, and you don't need to do it.
My real expectations are the Kings need to go in there and win that game at home. I'm sorry, you have to win that game.
I
at
agree.
home. This is a team that can obviously get buckets, like the Pacers can score, and they've got 3-point shooting, and they've got some talented players on the squad. But if you're going to be a team that's legit, you don't lose that game at home.
No.
That's just not one that you give up, especially 3 in a row you've dropped now. Schedule's going to get challenging.
There's a lot of things to it, though.
Yeah.
There's even, how many games is this for the Pacers and how many nights?
This will be their 3rd game in 4 nights now. They've been in LA the last 2, so they haven't had to travel. But still, it's 3 games in 4 nights for them. They're coming off an emotional win.
Yeah.
Against the Lakers, a day after they lost to the Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi.
A good team morale win.
Yeah.
And they're going back to Tyrese Haliburton's first team, and Tyrese is a league leader in assists. He's a playmaker. He is just so good at understanding where his teammates are going to be and getting them the best shots that they need. So if you're the Sacramento Kings, that's who you got to stop first. The one that's making everything happening. The one that's creating everything. And they know his game well enough to do that, but it's still about executing a game plan, staying disciplined, and not letting the emotions get you. And hitting some of those big shots, whether you're Kevin Huerter or even De'Aaron Fox, if he's assuming he's 100% healthy.
Davion needs to lock him up.
Yeah. That.
Who do you think has a bigger game?
Okay.
Hield or Tyrese? Is Hield just going to let him fly that night?
If he does, I want to see Ben Mathurin, if anything, do something. But out of those two, I'm going to say probably Tyrese. If Buddy Hield, it would be better if Buddy Hield had the bigger night than Tyrese, because I don't think people would be as pissed. People would be like, yeah, we've all seen that before. We get it. It's inconsistent. There's more frustrating times with Buddy Hield than not. But with Tyrese, it's still too early where it would hurt if he dominated the Kings. It would be like, oh my God, who won the trade? Obviously the Pacers. And everyone's so worried about that.
Wednesday night is not going to decide who won the trade or not. And taking a look at what Pacers have done, they are now 12-8 on the season. They're the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Their schedule hasn't been the most brutal recently, but here's the reality. You take care of the bad teams. Who cares? It doesn't matter who you're playing. Have they had some fortunate things on their schedule? Sure. But they were projected to be a bad team this year, and they're winning games. Winning in LA tonight, that's significant. The one last night was bad. They won against Brooklyn. Brooklyn had KD. They had Simmons. They had Kyrie. They lost to a bad Minnesota team. Then they took care of business against Orlando twice, Houston, Charlotte. So, again, they've had some fortune with their schedule. But to me, I think when people hate on the schedule, you can only play the games on your schedule. There's nothing they could do. Now, if you're trying to make the case that, hey, long-term, I don't think this team is going to keep this up, that their defense isn't good enough, and they may make some moves down the stretch and not be as good, fine. But right now, I could tell you they've got some talented guards that could fill it up. And Tyrese has been money this year, and Mathurin has been outrageous.
Is that column all of his assist numbers in every single one of those
Morgan,
games?
he leads the NBA in assists.
I know I said that, but I'm like just looking at all these double-digit assist games, and
he's been fantastic.
Just what a creator.
I mean, and we talk about it so much from like the Tyrese Hield component. Sabonis played there for a long time.
Yeah.
He's played playoff games. He made 2 All-Star appearances with that team. So, his chance to go take on his former squad for the first time, he's going to be amped.
Yeah, I'm with it. And it's just, how do you channel your amped energy, right? How do you channel those emotions? Because sometimes it can be difficult for guys. And I know we were hoping Kevin Huerter was going to have his revenge game back in Atlanta against the Hawks, and it wasn't that. And actually, since that, it's maybe even before that, his shooting's been a little down. And we knew it would be, and we knew it would go that direction at some point. But how can you at least keep it at a pretty solid level so you are a threat and you are putting points on the board and contributing?
Let's see if I can get in a better mood tonight by checking in with our guy, Nick.
Oh.
Is he actually here?
Oh.
What's up, Nick?
Nick? Can't hear you, bud.
Can't hear you, Nick.
Oh, there's his
He's
ear.
putting his ear by the phone.
Yep. Nope. That's your ear.
Nick. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Nick?
Deuce.
You're here this time?
Yes, I'm here.
What's going on, dude?
How are you?
Good. I don't see your face. Now we did.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, Nick, can you turn down your TV? You're on with us. Like, we're doing a show. What's going on, man?
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better. I don't hear it now. Good. What's going on, dude?
Well, we lost. Well, I just wanted to say that we lost tonight, but we should have won this game.
Yeah.
We should have beat Phoenix tonight. We should have lit the beam.
Oh, do you miss the beam?
Yes, I do. I miss saying, light the beam, light the beam. Why not light the beam?
Why not light the beam? Why? Yeah, I missed that too, Nick.
What's your message, Nick?
My message to the team is go out there and beat Indiana Pacers.
Are you going to cheer for Tyrese when he comes back?
He's not even on our team. So why should I root for him if he's not on my team? No.
Well done.
But what about Buddy Buckets?
Ooh.
Yeah, Buddy Hield, I do like him.
Oh, you do like him?
Wow.
Because I do miss Buddy Buckets, and I do miss him.
You don't miss Tyrese?
Tyrese Haliburton, he shot pretty good.
Yeah, he did shoot pretty good.
And also, I got a picture today. I got a picture with Kyle Draper and Kenny Thomas today.
Nice.
And also, I got a picture with Mark Jones. And also, yeah, and Katie Christensen was back today.
She was back today, yeah.
It was nice to see her back again.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Why not get a picture of Mark Jones? Why not?
Why
Why
Nick?
not,
All right,
Nick?
man. Will you be there Wednesday night?
I will be there Wednesday. Morgan, are you doing pregame live?
I will not be doing pregame on Wednesday, but I'll see you there, okay?
And that means Morgan. That means it might be Morgan's turn to get me a pizza.
Well, no, Nick, no.
Yes!
No, I don't know why you think I
Get
made
him
of
a
money.
damn pizza.
No, Nick, you can ask Deuce. Get out of here. We'll see you Wednesday, all right?
Hey, Deuce saw me shoot the post-game free throw today. I got to shoot the post-game free throw. He saw me.
And how'd you do, Nick? You missed it. You choked. You bum.
I bricked it.
Yeah, you bricked it bad. It was pathetic. And did you hear me? Do you hear me boo you? I did.
Booed him?
I did boo Nick.
Oh my
yeah,
God, Nick.
Yeah. All right, Nick.
Sleep dreams, Nick.
Sleep dreams.
I love the fadeaway we're starting to get from Nick. Sleep dreams.
He's gone.
You booed him?
I did.
What?
He's yelling at me, and then I looked down. He's like, I'm shooting a free throw. And he missed it. And then he tried to shoot another one and missed it.
You're an awful team. You booed him.
Yeah.
It's you encourage for the next time. Oh.
No.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Holding him accountable, huh?
Yeah. Any concern about Kevin Huerter, who is 0 for his last 11 from three-point land? Seems like they're defending him a little tighter nowadays.
Yeah. The film is being watched.
Yeah.
And understandable. But you guys, there's smart teams, smart coaches around the league who know how to make adjustments on individuals to make their life harder. And you're seeing that a little bit more with Kevin Huerter, but I still think he does a fantastic job of navigating the floor, especially to get the ball off some curls and just still slashing through the paint, coming strong off screens. His footwork, you notice just like the simple fundamental things are all still there. It's just, okay, what do? Maybe at practice, you practice with when those foam things start hitting you and stuff. Like, it's just something extra you got to throw at yourself to get better and better with more and more pressure.
I also just think it would be nice if instead of hitting 6 one night and then 0, can there be an in-between?
Split it up a little,
can we just
sprinkle some over here.
You just go, man, can you just knock down a couple tonight?
It's tough. And I would love to know from him, especially if he talks or whoever talks at practice tomorrow, what it may be. And some guys just say hey, the shot just isn't falling. But I'm also curious, is it because defenses are putting a little bit more pressure on you? And so what is it that you need to do? And or what is it that your teammates need to do to get you an even better, more open shot?
A couple of other numbers tonight. We mentioned Malik Monk. We should just acknowledge the fact that he finished with 30 points in this game, 12 of 17 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3. He made all 4 of his free throws. He also had 8 assists in the game for Sacramento.
Wow.
Harrison Barnes kind of a quiet couple of games now. And it's just man, when HB is not giving you, double-digit scoring, that's another guy who, during that 7-game win streak, it seemed like he was really in a nice groove, right? 16 to 18 points every night. Single digits is what hurts you a little bit. He was 1 of 4, 0 of 1 from 3. He did make 4 or 5 from the free throw line. Mentioned Huerter going 0 for 5. So if you can get a little more balance there, I just think it's going to be tough when you've got 3 guys in your starting lineup in Fox, Murray, and Barnes, and they combine for a total of 28 points.
And they know that. And I mean, obviously they're pros, but you know what's tough about it? When everyone else is playing better. And then it's those guys that you depend on, that you saw during the winning streak, especially what they were capable of at a very high level. It was some really good basketball being done evenly throughout this roster. And you got to see more of it. You got to see more of it going forward. And however guys need to step up, whether it's mentally for some or physically for others, whatever it is, they've got to figure it out. And I think they have all the right tools to figure it out. And that's where I'm so encouraged. And you can't pop my joy bubble.
Could the loss to Indiana really pop that a little bit though?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
it would be like like a slow. Yeah. I'm like, no. Patch it up, please. Get to Friday or whatever.
Buddy, another 3.
No.
Haliburton for the win.
Yeah.
And if that happened, Joy Bubble's not coming back.
Oh, no.
Ever.
Well, it would become a different bubble, like the happy bubble or something.
All right.
Gotta have a bubble.
I did want to mention one guy on the Suns. We talked about Devin Booker, who was just amazing. Mikal Bridges is such a good player, man.
He really is.
That guy makes plays left and right. He had 3 steals. Also, we didn't even mention the fact that Devin Booker also had 8 rebounds. He had 4 assists and I believe tied his career high with 6 steals.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. But Bridges plays 40 minutes. He didn't knock down his 3 tonight. Kind of an awkward looking 3 at times. But man, defensively, just the fact that they could throw him on different guys. And man, it got to a point they wanted to put him on Malik Monk because Monk was getting buckets.
Yeah.
And the link that you just talked about, it's so significant because the Kings try to fit these passes, sometimes maybe inside to a cutter, inside to Sabonis. They get their hands on it.
Yep. He's just so active with his hands, and he's a super smart player. And I think the only thing you really want to do if there's a mismatch size-wise with like a girthier player, you saw when even Keegan Murray was posting up on him and just was like, okay, well, I'm going to go through him. You know, Coach Brown wants me to be physical and go through guys. I loved seeing that, but there's still going to be moments that he understands how to stay vertical and how to block the shot because he is such a smart defender. He's patient and just so long.
Let's go next to our guy, Ross. What's up, Ross? Welcome in, dude. How do you feel about tonight's game with the Kings and the Suns, Ross?
You know what? Can't be too mad when we're 10-9. I mean, especially with the 0-4 start, you really can't hang your head too much. But last couple games, we just ran into more experienced teams and teams that have had their core together for a couple years. And, you know, as much as we want to put this team in a microwave and see the final product, it's not that simple. You know, we got so many new players. It's just one of those things that, you know, on offense and defense, you spend, you know, years together and it comes to a point where you don't even have to communicate anymore. And so in a fourth quarter game that's close, that's usually, you know, where you take the L at the end. We just didn't communicate and lost to a better team. And you look at the last 3 teams we lost to, both last 2 were in the finals last 2 years, and I think the Hawks were in the Eastern Conference Finals maybe a year, 2 or 3 years ago. But if you look at the 19 games that we played, had the 0-4 start, and they were all the pretty good teams, and then we had that run of wins, and the 2 losses were on bad ref calls. So if you're really looking at game by game, it's really hard to be mad at this team at all. And that's kind of with Murray struggling, with a couple things not going our way. So, you know, as much as you wanted to win, I mean, we're 10-9. I think everybody would have taken that at this point.
I appreciate that perspective so much because I think you're right. I think sometimes too, it just depends on what your expectations were going into this season. I think you heard some that were like, Kings are going to be the 4th seed in the Western Conference.
Okay, let's not say some.
There was like one.
There was like one guy in Boise out here that was saying something as crazy like that. I think most people thought playing, right? And playing.
No, I think a lot of people thought playoffs to start this season.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I think most people said playing. I don't think a lot of people were saying playoffs. I think some people thought that. Wait, please tell me the examples.
Okay.
It was more playing vibes than anything I thought from people.
I'm fine being wrong with this. I just recall the amount of times I talked about like the play-in conversation. I think the Kings will be in it. And so many people were like, you're wrong. They're going to be in the playoffs. And I was like, okay, I hope so. I really hope so. So that's why I guess when it comes to anyone, and I knew there was other people who felt the way I felt. And so I think for all of us having games the way that we're watching games right now and the way that this team is losing and the way that this team is winning, it's very encouraging, Ross. It's not even just the record. It's just like you're saying, it's just the competitive style of basketball that is being played out there, even in some of these late games, in some of these losses.
Yeah, and I think the other thing now is for this team to take the next step is to beat teams like this at home, right? It's beating some of these tough teams because their record against teams above 500 right now is not great. You know, they're doing a great job taking on the teams that they I guess should be, right?
Yeah.
Teams that are below 500, teams that maybe are not supposed to be good this year. But against the other teams, they're in these games. It's just like it's the details. You're right. It's a communication late. It's making sure you're locked in defensively, especially in late game situations. It's somehow getting that 50-50 ball that, the other team always seemingly gets against Sacramento. It's, in the Boston game, when things go bad, let's not panic. Yeah, they're switching a lot. How can we, as a team, not get out of our stuff and slip screens and really get some action going that way and do things differently? It's all about learning from these experiences, but you have to learn from them at some point, right? To take that next step. And look, they got a little adversity again, right? And this is what it's going to be. How do you handle adversity? I think for the most part, this team this season has done a good job of battling back, whether it's in a game or from an 0-4 start. They make it a game. They've got 2 double-digit losses the entire year. It was a game against Boston where it looked like they maybe had a chance at a time in the third quarter, and then that game at home against Memphis.
And honestly, that Boston game, that was like the perfect example of a true, and Boston, I mean, we can all agree Boston's like the real deal and probably is close to being the favorite to win the championship. But
yeah, and can I just real fast on that too?
Yeah.
I'm just so surprised at how they've kind of rallied together. Like, they got off to such an awful start last season and then turn it around, make it to the NBA Finals. 2 days before camp, they lose their head coach, and Robert Williams hasn't played a game this season for them. And they have just found a way to rally together and be the best team in the NBA. Tonight, they sat all their guys except Tatum. They rolled. They rolled at home. Day before that, Tatum sits. They rolled. So they're just clicking right now.
And a lot of people don't realize you got to go to whether it's the first round, the second, the NBA Finals, you got to get your heart broken. You got to, not sleep for 2 weeks after the finals and then get back into the gym. And that's how you win those games at the end. It was tied with 2 minutes left going into the fourth. They went on a 10-0 run. What do they say? Great teams finish quarters strong. And, but we played, we weren't hitting our threes and we're still in that game. So I don't really feel like we've been out of it. A lot of teams, or a lot of people say, we don't want to hear the excuse of it takes time and it takes synergy building. But I mean, Fox and Sabonis are 2 really kind of strong personalities as far as players. And they've played 30 games together. And then we got our probably next 4 or 5 guys, Keegan and Monk and Huerter, they've only played 20 games with them. So as much as we want to say like, damn, why can't we close? It's like, okay, the Suns have been, Eight and Booker been together, 3 years? And so has Bridges been there. So
yeah,
you can't really be too mad at it. It'll come with time.
Yep. And that's the biggest thing. Just has to come at some point. And your next chance is Wednesday night. Let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get it.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Ross.
Thanks.
Yep.
Great perspective.
Yeah. Or what do you think? I feel like you're holding some. What do you
No,
want to say
I
to
just
me right now?
the chat. I love this because I think it's cool how, especially probably in the off season, we grew. We got some NBA fans and we have some Pacers fans. And numb Pacers fan says, "I'm sorry that we have to beat you on Wednesday. You guys feel like family. Well, we appreciate you, but it's time to die."
Yeah, I saw a Tyrese Haliburton stat just a second ago. That was insane.
I know.
He's the first player in NBA history to have 60 points, 40 assists, and 0 turnovers in a 3-game span. The 0 turnovers in 3 games is absurd for a player who handles the ball as much as he does.
With the roster that he has.
His passing ability, he's just got such a great feel for the game. It's the reason why we liked him a lot when he was here. I love his game. Absolutely.
Davion, get on his ass.
Get into him. Fox, be ready to go. Yeah, I'll be better next game. I'm sorry, Morgan.
What do you mean you'll be better?
I feel like my mood's been a little today, and I think I'm just going to be honest because we are very transparent on the podcast with our feelings. How I cried on this podcast after my grandma died. I mean, that's a legit thing.
Yeah, I was like,
I need to do a better job of balancing how I interact during games, and it took 19 games for me to get to this point.
Yeah.
But personally, I start to feel it. And it's, I think what gets me, and again, all the people who are getting me right now are laughing. And you should laugh. You got me again, all right? You know I'm emotional. You know the kryptonite. You know how to get to me. It's just, there's people, and I mentioned, do you remember during the 7-game win streak when I mentioned Mio? And I said, where's Mio at?
Was he back tonight?
He was back tonight.
Oh, come on.
And he said, because losses are more fun. And it's just, these people in the chat, I'm like,
son of a bitch.
You guys kill me. Like, Armstrong Joseph in the chat, it's like, he was not in our Discord at all during the 7-game streak. The signs of, Fox has a few bad games.
See, and like,
lose. And that stuff eats at me.
And I don't get that.
It irritates me because you know what I want? I want a chat that's productive, not like, this guy greater sign. I told you Fox is not that guy. Where were you a few weeks ago? Where were you when he won Western Conference Player of the Week? Where were you?
Where are you during just discussions, right? Because like it's way more fun to have a discussion with someone than to just have people deflect and troll and everything. But there's so many great people within our Discord, our YouTube and Twitch and everything. I literally got my mind taken out of tonight's game for a second when some guy was arguing with me about me tweeting that Zach Zarba is hot, except when he makes bad calls.
Zach Zarba is really hot.
Yeah, and he was mad that I was objectifying Zach Zarba and then had like a terrible conversation with him, just awful. So it took me a little bit out of the game, but I got back in it, put my joy bubble on and said, you ain't popping this shit.
Let's go to Nora. We have not talked to Nora on Night Chat before, I don't think. Nora, welcome into Night Chat with Deuce and Mo.
Hi, I'm new to Night Chat. I'm also kind of new to basketball. I've only been like into the NBA since 2020, actually. But ever since I got into it, I really enjoy watching the Sacramento Kings. And I'm still learning about, the game and, how to I guess, acquire a higher basketball IQ. But anyways, I just wanted to ask a question about kind of your guys' predictions about what's going to happen on Wednesday's game with us, the Pacers.
Well, a couple of things, Nora.
Thank you. I have questions for you.
Yeah, what the hell? Stop for a second. Nora, you became a fan, an NBA fan in 2020. You started watching basketball. Are you from Sacramento?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
But the thing is, my brother's a huge Kings fan, and every time I tried to get into NBA, I was like, well, the Kings aren't doing well. Can I choose another team? And then he was like, no, I'll pretty much disown you if you do that. So
good brother. That's a good brother.
So here we are now.
Well, good. I'm glad you're a Kings fan. I hope you're still enjoying it, even though it could be up and down.
Oh,
this
I
year's
love
been
it.
fun. So your question is, what kind of
predictions? Yeah, can we make for Wednesdays?
I mean, here's well, I'm just gonna put it out here, and the last time I made a prediction very strongly, it's when the Kings beat the Warriors in Sacramento.
You made that prediction?
Yeah, I said it when Kenny Caraway was
you
on.
guys did.
I said the Kings are beating the Warriors. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it strongly. The Kings, hey, numb Pacers fan, the Kings are beating the Pacers coming up on Wednesday night. It's because they're better than you, and you know it. Your team's off to a nice start. It's not happening. That crowd's not going to let it happen. Domantas Sabonis is not going to let it happen. Davion Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, those guys aren't letting it happen. Coming up, this is not a prediction, by the way. Nora, you asked for a prediction. This is a spoiler. The beam will be lit coming up on Wednesday night at Golden One Center.
Wow. Nora,
I hope so, because, I was there tonight, and I was really hoping to see it. I haven't been to a game this season. Last season, I went to, over 16 home games. It was so fun, but, this season, I was looking forward to seeing that beam. But, I mean, I have faith.
You'll see the beam on Wednesday, and I'm not a big.
Whoa!
I know. I'm
What?
not. I know. Juice.
That means we're not seeing it. That means we're not seeing. Maury makes a prediction. We're not seeing it now.
I don't ever make predictions, and I hate predictions, and that's why Nora. Though I do feel like it's not only one of those games where the Kings need to get this win on their home floor. I truly feel it to my core that they feel that and they know it, and that they have what it takes to do it. Not only physically and with their skill set, but just truly mentally as well. I think they want it so bad as a team, but it really is going to be attention to so many details. And it's not like they're going to look at the Pacers as a rollover team, where I think early on, if they were winning a whole bunch of games, they might be like, okay, let's see what the Pacers got. But I think this is more of like a desperation. We got to stop our losing streak kind of win.
No, but this is an emotional game, not just for Sabonis. This is for Fox too.
Yeah.
Right? Like Fox is coming off 3 bad games now. The guy that everyone is talking about is Tyrese Haliburton. So many people said they should have traded Fox instead of Haliburton, right? There's so much talk about, yes, should you have gone with Fox? The Kings decided to keep Fox. All those angles. Sabonis wanting to get his too. There's no overlooking this team. This is we got to bring it on Wednesday night and send a message. Anyway, Nora, I just I hope
I love Haliburton, but I obviously hope that that we beat the Pacers on Wednesday. You know, even tonight's game though, I felt like we were playing really good, honestly, in comparison to how the Suns, rank right now in the Western Conference. Unfortunately, like I did not appreciate Devin Booker flopping all over the court.
Yeah.
Like every time.
He complains so much. He's on first team all bitch team.
He is.
He complains so much. Like he's on it. Luka's on it.
The antics are frustrating from Booker, and what's crazy is when he is still that damn amazing.
I love
You're
his
just
game.
like, ugh, why are you so magical right now against us? It's so annoying. But yeah, I'm with you though, Nora. I think the way that the Kings played and have been playing even in some of these losses this season, it feels different, and it's okay to believe that it's a little bit different.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, guys. I will be at the game on Wednesday, and I hope to see everyone there.
Yeah.
Well, come say hi to us.
Thanks,
yeah,
Nora.
Nice meeting you for the first time.
For sure. Nice to meet you. Bye, everyone.
All
Take
right.
care. Have a good night.
Nora
So cool.
became a Kings fan in 2020.
Dude.
That's cool.
No, it really, and I love that her brother said, I'll disown you if you become a fan of anyone else. And that she's like actually trying to be like, hey, I want to actually be in this fandom. Like, I don't want to just root from afar. She's calling in to Nija. That's so dope. Oh, did I cross a line there?
No,
I just
you're
realized.
great tonight. You're great tonight. It is almost amazing who comes out of the woodworks during the tough times. My guy Felix, who was on Fox all year last year, I had not seen him in the chat in ages. But tonight, he's here.
Deuce.
Fox struggles. The anti-Fox crew comes out. Oh, let's go.
What do you
Mount up.
sports.
Let's mount up.
What do you expect? What do you expect? Why do you put your freaking joy bubble on? Like, honestly, I'm stunned. You are.
I don't understand
you
the
are
psychology
such a strong
of people.
person.
No. Hear me out. Because I don't even mind when you're like Fox did not play well tonight, and if he keeps playing this way, the Kings are not going to be a playoff team.
Correct.
I just go. He's played well most of the year this year, and the Kings are 10-9. That's pretty damn good. But instead, the first signs of any weakness, I'm like, are you a fan? Like, do you want him to do well? Because you're never here going, hey, man, I got to say, Fox is really playing well right now. Man, that guy's really turned the corner. But the first sign of, oh, he's going through a funk, you pile on. It's just so weird to me.
Can I just say, like, as someone who I've had, I think, only two players in my entire basketball love life that I've ever kind of shit on. And it was really hard for me to turn it around and be like, oh, wait, they're actually playing well, and give them the love that they deserve. And I don't know why that was. I think in some ways it's a pride thing. You want to be right, but let that ego go. Let that ego go, because it's okay to be wrong. And I just want to say to those two, Mario Chalmers and Anthony Davis, I'm sorry for all those times. Those were my two, always. They frustrated the hell out of me.
I am going to make a promise tonight on November 28th, 2022.
Okay, I like this.
I am not allowing anyone to get in my head about this for at least the next 72 hours.
What? I was hoping like a month.
A month?
Yeah. You're capable. You are capable. I'm so confused. Why? You're the one who tells me to always be like, oh, yeah. What?
He says, hold him accountable, Deuce. He is supposed to play well. He's a max player. This franchise has given him everything, and the pressure is there. 3 bad games in a row won't cut it. Felix,
this
is going to last. I'm going to say this to you,
hon.
Felix. This is going to last. Go through NBA history, look at any great player in the league, and tell me, oh, you're not allowed to have 3 bad games. It's the same people that are in Discord going, hey, you can't lose 3 games in a row. No, you can, because it does happen, all right? This is not the 61-win team from 2002. Players go through funks. It's about how do you get out of them. You're naturally going to go through funks. You're not going to do that every single night. It is literally impossible to do
Too much energy.
in the NBA.
Too much energy toward Felix. Sorry, Felix, you're not worth it right now. It's just too much.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, just be better. Just be better. All you guys out there that do this, be better.
But you be better.
I will.
I'm not giving a damn.
I will, but
I will, but that's after November 28th, 2022 for 72 hours.
I just don't get it. I'm like, if you don't like something this much, then don't watch them.
Yes.
Move on.
Move on. I completely agree with that.
Here's my point. You're not enjoying it when it's happening, something good's happening.
That's
All you're going is, well, that's what he's supposed to do.
No, and that's part of the sport. So now if they were just robots and they were like, set on level all-star and they're supposed to play a certain level every single night because they're robots and you can't screw up, totally will get that in 50 years from now, okay? Totally will get that. But it's not that. And these are humans. And I don't know if you know about this. Humans make mistakes in every way possible, in every aspect of life. It doesn't matter what your job is. It doesn't matter how much money you get paid. So you knock it off too.
Okay. Let's end on a positive.
I like it.
Give me one big positive from tonight's game.
I made a prediction. Oh.
You making a prediction? That's great.
I did make a prediction. I thought you were saying from tonight's podcast. From tonight's game, I would just say my big positive was I want to make it more broad, but I'll just go with this guy, individual, Malik Monk, and just his ability to get into the paint and create things, especially when they needed it most, especially when outside shots weren't falling. It was so fun in texting my family chat and just being like, holy shit, Monk, and the way that he's playing. That fun feeling, Deuce, I felt like I'm sitting in the media section like a fan, trying to close my eyes on the final Suns possession when Torrey Craig ended up getting that free throw or getting that rebound. But it was such a fun feeling of nervousness and anxiousness and all these things. It was just great to feel that again.
I just love the energy Malik Monk comes in with, attacking.
Yep.
You feel it in the arena. When he goes strong to the basket, there's oohs and ahs. He had that one crossover that got oohs and ahs from the crowd. He brings so much life to not only the fan base, but the team. He's always liable for a couple of those plays. You're like, don't do that. But his energy and passion, and it's not just, I'm going to come in and get buckets. He can do that. He can absolutely get you buckets. He can get hot, knock down a three. He can dunk. He's going to provide a spark. But he wants to be a playmaker. He wants to set guys up. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is what makes him such a fun player to watch, but also probably to play with.
I would say him finding so much joy in playing basketball, and you see that from a lot of these guys, even when they lose games like this. You see those moments from Sabonis when he's smiling when another guy makes a shot, or he gets a pass from a teammate and he throws it down. Like, the joy that this team is playing with is contagious, and I feel like it's being spread everywhere, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's part of my joy bubble. It is invited.
Huge bright spot. And that was a fun game to watch. The result wasn't the best, but it was a fun game.
I agree.
Two teams going back and forth.
Whew.
Some fun offense
Give me some
at times.
good basketball. Let me finish that one with a win for the Sacramento Kings, but that will happen. That will happen, and this is a great place to start.
Well, we'll do it again Wednesday night. Kings and Pacers. Let's get it. We love you guys so much, but we gots to go.
You're all badass for being here. Thank you so much. See ya.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.